service is online and it's ready to accept parts. So let's walk through really quick how to actually create a part and get a quote on tube. We're going to start off, we'll jump into our ordering system and choose material catalog. Over here we'll see a pipe and tube option, and we'll choose square tubing. I'm going to go down and we'll just pick this aluminum. I'm going to go with 1/8 inch, 1.5 by 1.5. And you'll see this is the profile, and right there below the profile picture there's download DXF. Let's go ahead and click on that. And then I'm going to jump us into the Fusion 360, and obviously there's other software out there that you can use. This happens to be a pretty common one. But I'm going to select from here, I'm going to import this DXF file into Fusion, give it a second to load that in. And there's our profile. I'm going to select we'll say OK here. Select the contour that we actually want to use, and we'll go ahead and extrude that up. I'm just going to go 10 inches, so we'll just keep it simple. And there we have right there a tube that is 10 inches long of the profile that we had previously downloaded from the software. Okay, so let's do something cool. We could cut an angle on this, we can do all that practical stuff, but I wanted to show you something unique that really only a laser can do well. And so we're going to do something kind of fun here. Insert a little DXF again, and we'll grab a hold of this Oshcut logo. All right, there it pulls it in. We'll say OK. So there's our logo. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and select all the profiles really fast that I want to. We're going to go ahead and extrude that logo. So I'm going to select all these profiles that I want to extrude. So not that center. Closer. Okay, so we got all the stuff we want. And then I'm just going to say extrude. Get a little better perspective here. And we'll just go 1 inch on that extrusion. Doesn't really matter. Okay. All right. There it is. Let's open up our bodies panel. So we've got that extruded right there. We're obviously going to have to rotate it. So I'm going to go ahead and select these first, and we'll grab the move tool. And I want to rotate this 90 degrees so we can get it in right position. I'll go ahead and position it really quick as well on here. And then let's jump up here. We'll rotate this 108. Sometimes this thing will have a tendency to want to, depending on what it grabs, it'll have a tendency to want to give you weird perspective angles. So you can see here I get funky angles on these. So do that. This top perspective, we want to rotate it another 180 degrees here, so we'll go ahead and do that. And then lastly, I want to position it. So we'll grab this thing, throw it on here, and I guess I do need to make sure, one last item is make sure we're just clearing that outer wall but not punching all the way through. So we'll go ahead and say OK, and now you can see we have that logo inside of the tube there. So pretty simple. We're going to do a really simple cutting operation now. So I'm going to select the first body that we made, our tube body, and hit the combine tool in here. And in this combine tool, there's join, cut, intersect. We're going to choose cut. And then I'm going to now select my tool bodies. And so for the tool bodies, I'm going to select all of these things. You can kind of see it showing us a little bit of a preview here. It's a little hard to tell. I'm just going to go ahead and say OK. All right. You can see that's cut that right into the metal body of that tube. Pretty awesome. Okay, so I want to show you one last step that this is actually really critical to get done. If I export this right now, you'll notice on this bodies section right here, it actually will not upload and work correctly. And it's because there are multiple bodies that this knows about now. And the reason for that is the center of our O. So that O is going to fall out, and so it is now created its own separate body for that O. So I actually need to get rid of that O. So I can come in here and say delete. You notice if I delete it, it says, oh, well, some of these things are being used. Well, if I delete it, it did some weird stuff. So let's not delete it. There's another option. So if I click on the body and I hit remove, that's actually going to remove it while preserving all the things that, all those cut operations we just did. So I now have one body. Let's go ahead and export this. So we'll say export. Let's call this a tube sample. And I typically like to use step. You can use other formats, but step's a pretty good format and works well with the system, with Oshcut systems. So from here, let's go say upload. We'll grab a hold of that tube step file and let it work its magic for just a second. And there you go. There's that piece of tube. Like, I need to choose material now. And the cool part is that it knows it's 1.5 inches. So you can see here, we're 1.5 inches by 1.5 inches. But it's actually giving us some options. So we can say, hey, do you want to use steel? Do you want to use stainless? Do you want to use aluminum? Now, we started with aluminum. So let's go ahead and use what we started with, but you can see how awesome this would be. Now this may change the profile geometry, right? So it's something to be aware of, but let's just use what we started with. So there's our aluminum price. We can add the finishes, whatever, to it as well, like we're used to with Oshcut. We can also upload additional parts that are not tube to this order. So you don't have to just do purely tube. It can be tube plus flat sheet. And of course we have our quantity discount. So if we're going to get 10 of these, you see we have some big savings. Anyway, that's tube. Super simple, amazing capabilities. Excited to see what you guys create with it.